Ladies and gentlemen, when the seas turn hostile and danger lurks beyond the horizon, one thing remains certain. The United States Navy stands as the shield of freedom. Today, I bring you a story that reminds the world why no one should ever underestimate the power, precision, and discipline of the Navy force. When pirates scan the horizon for targets, they often believe they are the predators of the sea, swift and cunning. But sometimes the hunter becomes the hunted, and in this case it was the mistake of a lifetime. The pirates, driven by arrogance and greed, set their sights on a vessel they thought would be easy prey. They approached with confidence, certain that they would board, plunder, and vanish into the waves as they had done many times before. What they did not realize, what they could not even begin to imagine, was that the ship they were closing in on was no ordinary target. It was a United States Navy warship, a fortress of steel armed with technology, discipline, and firepower beyond their comprehension. The moment they advanced, the tone of the sea shifted. The silence broke with the thunder of engines, the sharp eyes of sailors locking on to every hostile move. In those seconds, the pirates discovered the terrifying reality. They had picked the wrong fight, and they were already too close to retreat. The ship before them was not defenseless. It was America's frontline, trained and prepared for exactly this kind of encounter. Every sailor on board was ready, every weapon was calibrated, every command echoed with authority. The pirates had walked into a storm they could never hope to survive. The sea has no mercy for mistakes, and theirs was fatal. What began as a mission of greed quickly transformed into a desperate attempt at survival. Instead of striking fear, they felt it. Instead of seizing power, they faced it. That single decision to pursue the wrong ship would haunt them forever, because when you target the United States Navy, you don't find weakness. You collide with unstoppable force. Training is what separates chance from certainty. And in the United States Navy, training is more than preparation. It is a way of life. When the pirates advanced, they expected chaos, hesitation, and fear. Instead, they witnessed a level of discipline that turned the tide of the encounter before a single warning shot was fired. Every sailor on that warship had rehearsed this moment countless times, drilled until instinct replaced doubt and action replaced hesitation. When seconds matter, training decides the outcome. And in those critical seconds, the Navy force proved why it is unmatched on the seas. The call was made, and instantly the ship moved as one living force. Orders flowed seamlessly, sailors executed with precision, and every system came alive like clockwork. There was no panic, no confusion, only readiness. What the pirates thought would be a surprise attack became a demonstration of mastery, as if the crew had been waiting for this exact moment. That is the difference between untrained ambition and perfected discipline. Pirates rely on luck. The Navy relies on skill. The ocean has no tolerance for error, and neither does the United States Navy. From the sharpest lookout to the commanding officer, each sailor played a role with unshakable focus. The pirates may have believed they held the element of surprise, but the Navy force revealed a greater truth. Surprise means nothing against a team prepared for everything. Chaos may be the weapon of the untrained, but discipline is the shield of the Navy. In that encounter, training did not just meet reality, it overpowered it, leaving no doubt that when the United States Navy responds, it responds with precision, unity, and overwhelming control. When the confrontation ended, the lesson was not just for the pirates, it was for the entire world. Every move made by that United States Navy ship carried with it a message far louder than any cannon blast. You do not test America's Navy without facing the consequences. It was not only about defending one vessel from an attack. It was about reminding every hostile force, every opportunist, and every would-be aggressor that the Navy force does not flinch. It does not hesitate, and it does not forgive reckless challenges. The message stretched beyond the waves, across borders, into the minds of those who might dare to repeat such a mistake. This was more than a skirmish at sea. It was a warning delivered with precision. Nations, criminal networks, and pirates alike understood instantly that the Navy is not a passive presence. It is an active guardian of freedom, a shield for allies, and a storm for enemies. The ocean has no borders, but America's strength does not need them, because wherever the Navy sails, deterrence follows. That single encounter was not just about stopping a pirate attack. It was about upholding the standard of dominance that the Navy carries into every ocean. The pirates may have thought they were making a point by striking boldly, but the Navy made a louder point in return. Every challenge becomes an example, every threat becomes a statement of power. In those waters and across the globe, the incident stood as proof that America's Navy force is not a target, it is the final word. Test the seas if you must, but test the Navy at your peril. That message remains unshakable, undeniable, and unforgettable. The open sea has always been a place of uncertainty, a domain where danger hides behind every wave and lawlessness waits for the right moment to strike. But in that vast expanse, there is one constant, the presence of the United States Navy. When a Navy warship cuts through the water, it does more than patrol. It projects safety, stability, and dominance. The attempted pirate attack served as a reminder that our vessels are not simply machines of war, but guardians of the ocean, standing watch over every horizon. Where others see endless water, the Navy sees a responsibility to protect. The pirates believed they were stalking an unprotected prize, but what they found was a living symbol of order on the seas. The Navy force does not only defend its own, it safeguards vital shipping lanes, deters aggressors, and reassures nations that freedom of navigation will not be threatened. That is the essence of guardianship, being present where danger brews, so that others may sail without fear. For every ship that carries goods, for every sailor from another land who journeys across these waters, there is an unspoken security provided by America's naval presence. In that encounter, the guardianship became undeniable. Pirates who once relied on fear were instead consumed by it, realizing too late that they had walked into the path of protectors who answer not with hesitation, but with overwhelming certainty. The sea belongs to no one, but safety belongs to those who defend it. And in every corner of the globe, that defense is carried by the Navy force. Our sailors do not seek recognition, they seek results, ensuring the oceans remain free, safe, and under the constant protection of a power that never sleeps. Power, honor, and victory are not just words. They are the lifeblood of the United States Navy. When the pirates set their course toward what they believed was an easy conquest, they underestimated all three. They came armed with weapons and arrogance, convinced that intimidation would win the day. But the moment they faced the Navy, they realized that true power is not measured in numbers or noise. It is measured in precision, discipline, and the ability to control the sea itself. Power is not what you claim, it is what you can prove under pressure, and the Navy proved it with undeniable force. Honor was present in every action taken aboard that warship. The sailors did not respond with chaos or recklessness, they responded with purpose. Every maneuver, every command, every display of readiness was guided by the code of honor that defines the Navy force. It is not about striking without reason, it is about defending without hesitation. The pirates had no code, no discipline, no greater cause beyond greed. Against the honor of the Navy, their mission was already doomed. Victory was never in doubt. From the moment the pirates chose the wrong target, the outcome was written in the waves. They could not outmaneuver the ship, they could not outthink the crew, and they could not outlast the force that confronted them. The Navy does not enter battles to gamble, it enters to win. For every challenge, there is only one ending, the United States Navy victorious. The incident was not just another clash at sea. It was a demonstration that power, honor, and victory are inseparable when carried by America's sailors. The pirates were forgotten, but the Navy's dominance was remembered. Presence is more than just being on the water. It is a force that shapes behavior, deters aggression, and reassures allies. When a United States Navy warship appears on the horizon, it is not simply a vessel crossing an ocean. It is a statement of dominance, a promise of protection, and a warning to those who might think about challenging order at sea. The pirates who tried to test their luck did not just meet a ship, they collided with a presence so overwhelming that retreat became their only thought. Presence turns uncertainty into certainty and fear into deterrence. The Navy force does not wait for trouble to find it. It sails where trouble brews, cutting through hostile waters with the confidence of centuries of tradition and the strength of unmatched firepower. To allies, that presence means security and trust. To enemies, it means hesitation and doubt. The pirates, who once believed themselves untouchable, learned in an instant that the ocean is never theirs when the Navy is near. Every radar sweep, every patrol, every symbol of the American flag on the sea reminds the world that danger is not left unanswered.